can we calm down? She fucked Tony Soprano, but boy, does she stir that fucking pot, man. I don't like her. I don't like her. Have the frickin' balls. Like, come on.
Can pull me from the dark.
Hi everyone, today we're getting into Real Housewives of New Jersey, episode 10. So this week the ladies head off to Ireland and it's fun to see like a major international trip on a Housewives show. There's been some underwhelming ones before, so Ireland looks beautiful and it's cool that it's Dolores's trip. She's hosting, she wants to show the ladies a little piece of her man's home and all of that. So it's fun to watch. They stay at a castle and it's potentially haunted, and so all the ladies are like super freaked out and it's just really funny. So they get in and they sit down for their first meal together at the castle, and of course things blow up right away. Margaret and Jackie are confronting Jennifer Aydin, asking her, basically the psychic that she had over, like she fed her information. And after a little bit of back and forth and Jennifer denying it, she admits it. She's like, okay, so I called her the night before and I was really late and you know, we talked for a little bit and I might have said that Margaret and I aren't getting along right now and etc, etc. And basically, yeah, she most likely, you know, told her about the endorsements or whatever. And so it just becomes this huge fight. And it's funny to see Margaret get so worked up. Like Jennifer Aydin really just like, she grinds her gears and you can tell. And yeah, she's like yelling at her from across the table. And it's just like, okay, ladies, can we calm down? And then it gets brought up that Margaret's ex-friend, they grew up together. She called up Teresa and Jennifer to have a meetup with them. And basically all the dirt that Marge has, she told them about it. So there's this big thing that was said about Melissa that Jennifer and Teresa are trying not to let the cat out of the bag, but of course they do. I mean, why? It wouldn't be Housewives if they didn't. So at one point, you know, earlier in the season, Jennifer's like, I will never repeat it. I'm not going to repeat it. And this episode, she repeats it. She tells Danielle in the room about what Laura said. Somebody saw Melissa Gorga in the backseat of a car with another man making out. So Laura knows this because Margaret knows this and Margaret told Laura about it. So Danielle was like, oh my God, like I wish I never asked. Like this puts me in the middle now. Like that's horrible, you know, if it's true. And then they end up going out for like a pub crawl. Teresa is dressed in white because it's like her bachelorette thing. And then they get to the next place where they're eating and another conversation goes down where Jen Fessler, she's a pot stirrer. She asks Teresa as to why she chose Jennifer and Dolores to be her bridesmaids. Like this is the thing that I am annoyed about when you have friends of, like, you don't get a lot of the backstory, like, oh, she shared the fact that she fucked Tony Soprano. So that's like her big thing, you know, she wants to share that and put it out on national television, but anything else really, like, you don't know a whole lot about her. But boy, does she stir that fucking pot, man. So yeah, she's just like,
so why did you feel like asking Jen and Dolores to be in your wedding?
Like, in other words, why not Melissa? And so it turns into this big old discussion and everyone's sharing their opinions when really it's like, it's Teresa's wedding. If she wants to have Melissa in there, great. If she doesn't have to. It's not anyone else's business, essentially. So again, Teresa's explaining like, you know, we haven't been getting along. And she said, you know, if you and my brother were so upset about me not inviting your mom to the wedding, then you should have called me. You should have let me know. And I would have then, you know, oh, okay, I'm so sorry that that's an issue. Like, I will invite her. You know, like it would have been simple. Instead, you're just telling everyone else how you're so upset instead of talking to me directly. So I can agree with that. I can see Teresa's side on that. And then, you know, the conversation continues and Jennifer Aydin puts her foot in her mouth again, because she does that a lot. And she basically says like, well, like telling Melissa like, well, you're invited out of obligation. And everyone's like, wait, what? Like, obligation? Did you just say that? Like, walk it back, walk that back. And it's funny because many seasons ago, the Gorga's first season, when they were having the christening, Teresa goes and tries to talk to Joe Gorga and he's like crying to his dad, and at some point, Melissa's sister says to Teresa, like, you're only here out of obligation. You were only invited out of obligation. So tables got turned a little bit there. But yeah, Melissa is playing the victim this season, and oh, woe was me, and Teresa's so mean, and she can never take accountability, and yada yada yada. It's just like, again, I'm over them. I'm over the Gorgas. She was on Watch What Happens Live this week, and her and Andy had a little bit of a back and forth. Like, you can tell there's some tension there. You can tell that Andy didn't really like her getting snippy with him. She was annoyed with these rumors going around because obviously she says they're completely untrue. But I mean, I always say it, where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a lot of like people that are connected to that. New Jersey is a very small area, and people talk. Kim D on Behind the Velvet Rope with David, she says it, like, they kind of say like it's a known thing that she made out with this guy. There's some shady shit going on there. I think that it'll be interesting to see how Melissa gets herself out of this. What is the story there? How is she going to skirt around it? Because it's now, when there's been grumblings kind of about this on the internet, but it's never actually made it onto the show. This season, that's one of obviously the big storylines. So we'll see what happens next week. It will be very interesting. On the after show on YouTube, there's a part that's like super annoying to me. Melissa and Rachel Fuda are doing their interviews together, and they're talking about the pop-up that Melissa had Danielle's brand at, Bougie Kids. And so Danielle is saying, she promoted me, yes, but I didn't make a whole lot of money from it. As a matter of fact, I had a lot of friends that showed up and shopped that day and spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars at her store. So really, she made out way better than I made out that day. So like, thank you for the opportunity, but at the same time, you know, like, and that apparently Melissa got some sort of outfit from her and never paid her for it. And she's like, you know, it wasn't like a lot, but she never paid me for it. And then it flashes to Rachel and Melissa. Melissa's, yeah, I think I got some sort of outfit from her. Like, I can't remember. And then Rachel's sitting there and she's like, I think they asked her, like, did you pay for it? And Rachel's like, yes, you did. And Melissa's like looking at her, and the producer's like, were you there? And she's like, no, I wasn't there, but you called me. It was a 3-piece suit. It was for someone who just had a baby. It was $25. You paid for it. And Melissa's like, she's like, oh, okay, yeah, I paid for it. And then even Melissa asked her, she's like, were you there? And she's like, no, you called me. She's like, I have a really great memory. She's so far up Melissa and Marge's ass. It's like so obvious. Like, I in my opinion, that whole thing right there, Rachel was trying to dig Melissa out of the hole. Like, Melissa was kind of going on like, oh yeah, maybe I didn't pay for an outfit, I can't remember. Like, because in Melissa's mind, it's like not that big of a deal. She's such a brand name, and Danielle is so small time. But Rachel was trying to like help her out, and like, she's such a good friend, and you know, just save her on that. It was just like, I can't stand her. I don't like her. I don't get her. What's her appeal? I don't understand. I'm not into it. There's some people who do like her. Oh, that she's holding her own, and she's not really talking about herself. There's not a lot going on about her. Again, she's a pot stirrer and a kiss ass, so, you know, you have that. I mean, good for you. What I've seen online also is that Marge reached out to a fan who won a pizza oven from Teresa and Louie's thing. She won it somewhere. But anyways, she posted that she had one. So Marge reached out to her and offered to buy it from her. And she did. And she is going to bring it to the reunion because it's filming this week. I'm pretty sure it's very soon because everyone's like getting their, you know, hair done and getting all spruced up for it. So it's coming up. But yeah, Marge is going to bring it to confront Teresa and Louie about it at the reunion. I don't know, but she would. She's so slimy, you know. I think it's always like divert. So there's got to be a reason why. And I feel like someone needs to have the balls to expose Margaret. Like, it would be such a nice like shift of just dynamic to kind of see Marge like floundering. I don't like this control that she has right now. It's very much like she kind of stays on the sidelines and she just makes her smart ass remarks, but she has other people like doing her dirty work. And I mean, I said it before, I think it'd be awesome for Melissa to turn on her, or just someone have the freaking balls. Like, come on. And then I also saw that Marge and Joe are getting sued by their accountant because they haven't paid their bill. It's like $15,000 that they owe them, something along those lines. So people are talking shit saying like, oh, well, Marge puts on the show that she's so wealthy and has all this money, but in reality she doesn't. And it's obvious because why would her accountant be suing her? So it's fun to see, you know, what the internet is digging up while watching the show at the same time. It's interesting being a like reality TV fan in this day and age when we have social media, we have Instagram, Twitter. There's a storyline on the show, and then there's a storyline that's happening in real life, and then how are they crossing over? Like it keeps me very entertained. So but thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you being here. If you are into Bravo, if you watch Vanderpump Rules, if you follow pop culture, please visit my channel, check out my other videos. I would really appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye everyone.
Can pull me from the dark.